Oh no, you guys, look. The magic money tree has fallen over. It's been very windy overnight and here's one casualty. I'm really sorry, guys. That means that, you YouTubers that I pay from the money collected from this magic money tree on my wheat fields, where I am Sir Michelle, Sir Dr. Michelle. It's dead. Oh no, no more money. Sorry, guys. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. Happy Friday. Tilly's glad that it's the end of the week. Not that it matters to Tilly. It's very windy this morning. So this is a very good test for the Fancy Pants lapel mic. We'll see what the sound quality is like. If there's wind noise, then yeah, there's wind noise. Thank Crunchy it's Friday, Tilly. For you guys who didn't bother watching yesterday's video because it wasn't about summer wells, well, you'll be pleased to know that this one is about summer wells. As I've said before, I'm really disheartened when people just bypass anything on my channels that isn't summer wells. I cover a wide variety of cases, some of which are kind of where is, raising awareness for missing persons. And I cover unsolved cases, such as that yesterday of Dio Coons Jr. or Dylan Ealer that I did recently. But I've got a wide variety of topics. I even do historical cases. If you're into historical crime stories, then head on over to my playlist over on my other channel, Michelle Walks, for Crime Story Sunday. And guys, for those of you who like Crime Story Sunday, episode 21 is going to come out this week, Sunday, usual time, usual place, 8 p.m. UK time, which I believe is 3 p.m. Eastern or noon Pacific, over on Michelle Walks. It will be a premiere, so it's a recorded video, but there will be a live chat, and I'll let you know tomorrow what case I'm going to be covering. It's a well-known case from the 19th century, it's a very old one, but I think some of you will know the case. Some of you might not, but head on over anyway. So Chris McDonough did a show last night. I've managed to catch up on it this morning before I headed out. And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not a Chris hater or anything like that. I think he's brought us a lot of good information, interviews, and that invaluable tour of the Wells house. All really, really useful to us back in July when Chris was filming all of that stuff. But in my opinion, and this is just purely my opinion, don't come at me, guys, I think Chris has become hyper-focused on one possibility. And I wonder whether he's done that and shut off thinking about other possibilities. I'm just wondering that, because although Chris has talked about, possibilities like, did something happen to her at the swimming hole? Does Hunter know more? He's come back to the shed on the bottom property. It's one of 3 sheds on the Wells property. The other 2 are up on the hill. The shed on the bottom property does not have a hidden cellar or a hidden basement. One of the sheds on the hill does have a basement, a little stone cellar. It's not hidden, law enforcement know about it, but this shed down here doesn't. And back when Chris spoke to Don Wells, even before he spoke to Don Wells, he started talking about sheds. When he was there interviewing Candice up on their property, he thought Don was hiding in a shed. I don't think he was, honestly, but who knows? And he's focused on the shed down at the bottom property, speculating that maybe Summer was sold from that shed, things were going on in that shed, you know, nefarious things. Perhaps Summer was taken from there, taken to there, and then taken from there. And I considered that as a very serious possibility. Last summer, last August, when Chris was all about this. I think if you want my honest opinion, I think Chris has been one of the people, because of that hyper focus on just one possibility, has has meant that other people have also hyper focused on it. I'm going to admit that it's partly Chris and then partly some of my own research and putting discrepancies together and problems with the timeline together that made me focus on the sole theory that the parents were responsible for selling Summer for so long. I focused on that for so long, and it was only when I opened my mind to, well, there's lots and lots of other possibilities, that I thought, well, I can't discount the sole theory. I can't. So I can't take it off the table. But what I can't do is have that now as my number one theory. I can't, because there's so many other possibilities of what might have happened to Summer. And although, yeah, Don and Candice and Grandma are still persons of interest, can we not entertain the possibility that the parents are not involved? That Don was at work. You know, Detective Pruitt says that they've analysed kind of the cell data, the cell tower data, and they're not much further forward than when they started. That's his own words. Does that discount Don completely? Could they clear Don? Could they? Have they cleared Don? We don't know. But Don has taken a lot of heat. But yet he's consistently said he believed that Summer was abducted. He's made some potentially incriminating statements that, you know, even according to Fred Hill, even just a few hours after Summer disappeared, he said, oh, well, I'll see her in a resurrection. Now, he did say that. We don't know whether he actually said that to Fred Hill, but he did say that in just a few days after Summer disappeared, you know, implying that she was deceased and that she'd been taken and perhaps killed. However, people have hyper-focused on that and they haven't heard other things he said. He said that he thinks she's being held a long way from here.
Well, whoever has my daughter, I pray and hope that they have not harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound.
You realize Summer is somewhere that she's probably doesn't want to be, probably locked up or being, you know, hurt in some way. And we're there on that beautiful beach and our daughter is who knows where.
He's entertained the possibility that she is still alive somewhere. This, of course, is before he went to jail. He went to jail on the 7th of February this year. And yes, guys, for those who are doubting this, he is still in jail. He is in Hawkins County Jail. This is his current status. He pled guilty to the most serious charge, and therefore the lesser charges, they didn't pursue prosecution of those because he pled guilty to the most serious charge. And they gave him 11 months and 29 days anyway because of his probation violation. So his charges haven't been dismissed. He's not somewhere in federal prison. He's in Hawkins County Jail. Anyway, sidebar. So why can we not entertain the possibility that Don suspects what has happened to Summer, and he's tried to say he can, in some kind of guarded way, talk to the people who he believes have taken her? I can't see why people can't entertain that possibility. And I'm pleased to say that more and more people are entertaining that possibility, including myself. I'm including myself in this. You know, Chris says he wants to talk to Candice again, and that she was perhaps on the verge of spilling the beans there at the swimming hole, but yet she got disturbed and then she wanted to stop the interview. And guys, yeah, I see what Chris sees. Now, we don't know, you know, the camera shut off. We don't know what Chris heard or Chris experienced when that camera was shut off. Maybe Candice did say some more things that Chris has not recorded. We don't know because the camera was shut off. I've said this multiple times now, that I think Candice does know more, even if it's that Summer was missing a lot longer and she was scared to tell Don, and it's just now spiraled and completely out of control, and now she can't admit that the hours had passed rather than minutes. And yeah, the script is at least in part made up because she had to cover up the fact that she wasn't watching Summer for hours, 3 hours even, as long as 3 hours, rather than just a few minutes. Maybe that's all she knows. Or maybe she does know more and she's scared. And that's why she had that reaction on Dr. Phil's set with Scott and Greg from the behaviour panel at the mention of the cornbread mafia. Every time I mention the cornbread mafia, people take me literally, like they took Greg literally. I'm not saying that the cornbread mafia, I know they're a real thing, but I'm not saying that they took Summer Wells. I'm not. And neither, Greg and Scott weren't saying that either. They were saying organised crime like the cornbread mafia. But there is organised crime there on Beech Creek. So I don't see why it's out of the realms of possibility that Don was not involved in any of this. But Don's aware of it. And Candice is not involved in any of this. But she's aware of it. But they're scared. Now, as we approach the 1 year mark of Summer being missing, it is time, it's more than time, for them both to come clean and name names and say exactly what they know. Even if it's a massive risk to themselves. I know it's easy for me to say while I'm, you know, safely 4,000 miles away, wandering along a random wheat field in the north of England. It's easy for me to say that. But even if there's risk to yourself, couldn't it prevent further crime? Couldn't it prevent, you know, even other children going missing in the future? I don't know, you guys. Maybe that's naive of me to say. In recent videos, I've talked about Jodie Sue, the neighbour, who allegedly heard the scream between 4:30 and 4:42, who told Candice and law enforcement on that day that she heard a scream and her children heard it as well. But what if that was a lie, guys? I've believed the scream for the longest time. I'm guilty of all of this as well. But what if Jodie Sue was lying, and she's lying for a reason? Because she's covering up. She's there on the scene on purpose. She's there to feed the narrative from ground zero. What if she's told us a load of bull in those 16 videos that she put out? What if all of Jodie Sue's timeline is a lie? Or at least most of it, because I think probably the 609 seeing Candice coming down the driveway, that fits with the dispatch call, so I think that's possibly the only truthful thing in Jodie Sue's timeline. Let's just imagine that that is the only truthful thing in Jodie Sue's timeline. What if she's there from ground zero to feed the narrative? What if she knows what's happened to Summer and she's been the voice to keep Don and Candice in the dark? What if she knows exactly who's taken Summer? Could that be a family member? Could that just be some of her associates? What if she knows? And once people started to really talk and really dig into this, she came out into the public because she inserted herself in the case from ground zero. A lot of what Don said about Summer going down the dog trail came from a neighbour. And which neighbour was there? Which neighbour said in her own words that her search dog stopped at her feet? Well, guys, that was Jodie Sue Brown. This interview that Don gave a few months ago about his neighbour heard a scream and she was taken down the dog trail, perhaps with her hand over her mouth. Now, he took a lot of heat for that he was visualising what really happened because he was involved, or even if it was him that did it. That was fed to him by Jodie Sue. So what if Jodie Sue knows exactly what happened to Summer? I'm only theorising. But what if she knows exactly what happened and she's been the one to feed the narrative? How many snakes in the grass are there on Beech Creek? I would argue that there are a lot of snakes in the grass. We know there's organised crime. There's been drug busts, a big one, involved interstate trafficking of drugs, including marijuana, oxycodone, cocaine. But there's also child P charges on people's records there on Beech Creek. And who knows all of these people? Who's the common denominator between these people? Jodie Sue. Jodie Sue is. Frank Light, his registered address is very, very close to the wells. Now, allegedly, he has an alibi for June 15th, 2021. But his charges are the same as that of another RSO, Randy Haas, whose wife is Polly Bernard's cousin. He was using the Wi-Fi on Polly Bernard's properties. Don Sherfy Jr., we know how close his connections are with Ben Hill Road. His dad, Don Sherfy Sr., who inserted himself into this case by telling the heels on the ground people to go away. Oh, Don, you silly boy, because I didn't know that you even existed until then. You silly boy. But his girlfriend is William Goad's niece. Mary, William Goad's sister, still lives there. Very close. And his son, Don Sherfy Jr., has got the same charges. He's not convicted yet. He was not interviewed at the time. I hope he has been now. Don Sherfy Sr.'s property is very close to the Lone Star Road property that's the mailing address for the Bernards. Now, I'm not saying the Bernards are involved in any way, shape or form. I'm not saying that. But it just so happens that Jodie Sue Brown is connected to the Bernards. So the common denominator here might not be the Bernards, it might be Jodie Sue Brown. Is she at the very heart of the Viper's Den there on Beech Creek? We've got to explore the possibilities. She called this a perfect storm from her own mouth. From ground zero, according to Fred Hill, she sat down there on Ben Hill Road for 3 days, listening to what was going on. In August, her son was caught on 2 occasions creeping around on the property. Was he sent there by Geordie Sue to spy? How many times had he been sent there to spy that he hadn't been caught? Maybe lots. Why? Is she just the proverbial nosy neighbour? Or are there reasons that she has done all this? Are there reasons for it? And the reasons is that she's connected. She's right at the heart of the Viper's Den. And she knows exactly who took Summer Wells. Was Summer fed into some child P ring? And has Don been more honest than people have given him credit for? Don said this is far bigger than anybody knows. Randy Haas is a former correctionals officer. Jerfy Senior is a former correctionals officer. Are there correctional officers involved in this? Are there some rogue individuals from law enforcement involved in this? I don't know, you guys. We could get very conspiratorial here. But why, look guys, why has nobody from law enforcement, no one, contacted Scott E. Scholes for that chase he had from a red Toyota Tacoma, the same make and model that law enforcement alleges to be looking for? You've got to ask the questions. Why? There's so many things that don't make sense. And perhaps it's because law enforcement themselves are covering up. Now, we don't necessarily have to go down the conspiratorial route and say law enforcement are involved in this massive child P ring. It might be that they know and they're trying to get further information that they can't release to the public. That's as good a possibility as any. But this thing could well be far bigger than anyone imagines. So to take this video full circle and say to Chris McDonough, Chris, have you considered the bigger picture? That there are so many snakes in the grass there on Beech Creek that we have to consider the possibility that this thing is far bigger than anybody knows. And that Don and Candice are innocent. They have been holding back on things, but it's not what they did to Summer. It's perhaps Summer getting away for far longer and Candice has not told that particular truth. Perhaps law enforcement do know that. But in the general scheme of things, perhaps that's not such a big deal. You know, Don saying, Candice, you've got to watch her. He took a lot of heat for that as well. But perhaps it's because he knows what snakes in the grass there are on Beech Creek. I'd have sold that land and hightailed it out of there, I'm telling you. But what he's done is done. And all we can do now for Summer is to keep an open mind and look at the bigger picture and just hope and pray that law enforcement are doing the investigations that Summer deserved. And Summer isn't just forgotten amidst some dodgy people there who just happen to have some influence. Let's hope and pray that law enforcement do get to the bottom of this and that they root out every single snake in the grass there on Beech Creek. Why has Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said the scream is unfounded? Why have they been interviewed numerous times? Why? Look at Geordie Sue Brown's associates. She's the perfect person to come out and be the voice to throw everybody off the track because she's got cancer, so people feel sorry for her. I felt sorry for her. She's gone into detail about her DV. I think there was some DV in that relationship, but she was kicked out. The Bernards kicked her out. Is Andy not innocent, but perhaps not the monster that she's claimed him to be? And she's just smarting because he went off with someone else. She's getting back at him. Maybe he's involved. I don't know. Right? We don't know enough about Andy Bernard. Perhaps the only thing he's guilty of is having to get rid of his marijuana. There are bigger snakes in the grass, lots of them, in my opinion, and that the things going on Beech Creek are a lot bigger. And Don Wells is right. And we've got to entertain the possibility that we've unfairly and unjustly criticised Don for the things he said when he is innocent. Just entertain that possibility, guys. Look at the bigger picture and consider all of the snakes in the grass there on Beech Creek. And on that note, let me know what you think in the comments below. I've been Michelle. Hope you're well. See you in the next video. Goodbye from Miss Cassie Springer and Miss Tillington. Bye, guys.